things that we wanted on this list that
Right.
you would think not everybody's out there looking for. And certainly not the day it goes listed that it's going to be gone. We don't even get a chance.
Yep. Totally just went blank.
Sorry, I don't want to cause any trauma and make you go back through some of these instances or anything, but
Right. And then we move forward to where we would find a house and we would put in an offer, which was $100,000 above asking, and we still wouldn't get it.
yeah, and that was what was crazy. I mean, you know, we've heard about escalation clauses. We've heard about buyers waiving their rights to do inspections. We've heard about appraisal gaps. And so we really had to have a lot of conversations when we started this to say, what is it that you're willing to do? You know, I have to advocate for you as my client to make sure that the process is what you want, expect, and need, to make sure that you're getting that peace of mind throughout the process. So are there times when somebody will buy a house sight unseen? Sure. Do I think that's the right thing for everybody to do? Absolutely not.
They don't allow you to get a payment plan with your county. Like, you know, most elderly people, most people do get on
A monthly payment.
payment plan. Most people can't pay $4,000 for their taxes at the beginning of the year, especially people on fixed income. And they require that. And if they pay it for you, now you have to pay them back.
I could go on Google right now, download a blank quitclaim deed form, and sign my house over to you or Ellie, even if I had $100,000 in delinquent taxes, and I walk away with the money, and one of y'all gets the delinquencies, and then it's up to the county to try and catch up, which we've been doing a marvelous job at, I might add. I'll add a plug in about that later. But there are so many property tax reforms that need to happen, not only for folks who are playing by the book, but also to stop some of this nonsense that's happening all across the state.
Right, and scams is a whole nother topic that I'm sure we could really dive into, but the big thing is individuals who are handling transactions without calling a realtor, without calling a title company, without calling the county commissions or anything like that, the county department there, somebody who knows this isn't normal, this isn't how it's typically done, and are you even aware that there are delinquent property taxes on there? The number one thing that you would recommend regarding home warranties?
Get one. I mean, protect yourself. I mean, that's really it. It's your biggest investment you're ever going to make. You need to protect it. You get a warranty on your car. When you buy your car, you know, get a warranty on the biggest investment of your life and use it. Don't forget you have it and use it, because you will see the value when you use it. You really will.
And if you can, you want to maybe renew it for that next year.
Absolutely.
Just to
Yeah,
continue
you can
that.
renew it for as many years as you want. There's really no cutoff on that.
Oh, I didn't
I
know
have a
that.
friend who's like on year 20.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that renew for many, 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 many years.
Well, see, I've learned something new then.
Yeah, they have that. They have that in their arsenal of, you know, things that they budget for every year.
Wow.
Is to renew the warranty. Yeah.
Very good. What am I talking about? We had last minute changes, right?
Yes.
We had I'm going to call this really what's the number one issue that happens with real estate transactions is the oh shit moment. The oops, this happened because something suddenly just changed. And now you have to take a step back, first of all, breathe, and realize, okay, what can I do to correct this or fix this or overcome it? And this happens with people when maybe there's a sudden loss of a job, or there's a transition that otherwise wasn't expected in the process.
Or you see all the time where people go out and buy a new car, or they go furnish their house on credit before they go in to the closing table. Right. So Tammy, what is the most number of houses you've shown someone before they bought?
Honestly, I would say that I probably have lost count in a couple of situations, but I know that very specific buyers looking in market times where it wasn't necessarily ideal for that situation, easily 50 to 100 homes. And that's not in 1 month, thankfully, but a serious buyer who had a time urgency, and we would see no less than 10 homes a day when we would go out, we easily saw 75 homes in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just that I work based off of what are the demands and the needs of the client and what the market is allowing for us. So when we used to be able to see set schedules of showings and go see 10 houses at a time, that's great. Now we're lucky if we set a schedule for tomorrow that I actually get to take that tour because the home goes under contract.
Right.
And I'm making that appointment today. So depending on the market, you may do it all at once or it may be expanded. Like my VA buyer, we took 4 years and we definitely saw a lot of houses. So there's advertising rules.
So you can't say like, we'll only sell to families.
Right.
We'll only sell to single white female.
Correct. And, there's some that have even talked. We have one of our communities whose legal zoning actually doesn't allow them to talk about 55 plus communities.
I always thought, like, with fair housing, how can they do that?
So it actually is opposite of what they have on their zoning, but the community has it zoned within their own regulations. So they are superseding this, but you can't.
Is that like the villages or
you
something?
can't discriminate against a protected class. And so I couldn't say just in general that I won't sell to you because you are older or younger than what I think I need to sell to. But if you have a community that's designated as a senior living complex, that is already taken care of and not a violation of fair housing. So
What is our tip?
the tip is to protect yourself in having written agreements, regardless of the relationship. Like if it's your son or daughter who's moving back home and they're going to pay some money towards rent, put it in writing. If mom's going to come live with you and she's going to pay something in order to compensate for rent, put it in writing. It just protects you. It protects everybody. And it's not to make it a monetary scenario, but it is to make sure that people have a level of protection. Because if you had mom move in with you and it's your mortgage and then, God forbid, something happens and you're in a horrible accident, mom has no rights in the house that could be taken away. So you want to protect them and say they have written agreement. They're a lease person in this union, and so they have a right to live here until this can be addressed.
There's so many sides that you don't even think about.
So we judge everything off of square footage, and we got different price guides per square footage. And the way that I kind of take photos is when I go into a home, I'm looking at it. I'm not just like, oh, stand here, click, go. I kind of want to tell a story, and that's ultimately what you're doing as a media person or photographer or videographer. You have to stick to the story,
Right.
and that's what we're taught when we're getting into the media game. Is the story is everything. So if you can't, with your photos, tell a story of the home, then you're not doing your client the best that you can do. So as long as you are getting what they want and ask for it, you guys are paying us.
Right.
We're going to give you everything what it is. I might say, hey, this basement, it's not good. I probably wouldn't market with it, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's your choice. You paid for it. It's up to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really just depends on what it is. I'll never tell somebody this doesn't look that good.
It's a one-time cost. I want to
Okay.
say that too. It's a one-time cost. Unlike auto insurance or home insurance, that you renew it on a yearly basis. Title insurance is a one-time cost. You pay it at the closing table most frequently. It's a filed rate. You pay it the one time. Just for purposes of example, on my filed rate
Yeah.
with me. Average home price that you sell or have a client
$258 right now is the average in this.
So for $258, the filed rate, the owner's policy premium is $1,340. $1,340 and 50 cents.
So in that case,
50 cents.
if the contract is written where the seller is only giving a $300 credit to the buyer, then the buyer is still paying over $1,000 for it. And so if it comes down to there's a dispute as to who gets to pick the title company, in that case, the buyer gets to pick them because they're paying the greater portion of the title cost.
Having that river district area is a potentially great opportunity. The Great Western Lakes area is an opportunity because there's
Nature.
they
and-
call them lakes. I think they're big ponds because when I go down to the lake, it's 30 miles long, and these things are. But it's everybody likes things around water activity.
sure.
So there's a lot of potential and opportunity to draw people to our community and to bring tax base to the community, which is very, very important for the success of any community.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so we randomly picked a store that happened to be the store, and we started talking about it, and like 8 out of 10 of us had ads immediately.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If AI is that powerful and that abundant in what it's collecting, so it's collecting information from around and about. It doesn't mean that's you specifically searching for and giving it what details you want, but it's collecting this data and then it's going to give you this information back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's scary because just because the phone hears it doesn't mean I've said it. It could be
Right.
somebody in the room. It could be somebody around. It could be off of the TV or anything like that. I think it does bring caution to really protecting.
It makes sense if you've got enough other positives, you've got a great credit score, you've got a good down payment, and it just makes sense. We'll make it make sense. But yeah, that's a great program. And then I've got, because I have an underwriting background too, so I have experience in analyzing income, sitting down and taking a look at the tax returns and seeing what is the income stream that we can use, and then helping them to qualify for and put their best foot forward.
Right. So one of the episodes that we've done is, oh, you want to be a realtor? And Ellie asked some questions and everything. And as the realtor, I just need to know the right people to introduce clients to and give a couple of names for lender options. But sometimes the buyer comes to you and they have their own lender already designated or somebody that they've done an online application with, and we always cringe because we want to get face-to-face with the lender, especially for that expertise, because it really can come down to being able to talk one-on-one with you, and that's not necessarily easy to do over the phone when you start talking about all these financial types of things, the questions.
And one of the things that I keep getting asked, and a lot of what's out there right now, is it better to buy versus rent? This is always a topic, right? But it's really being pushed. There's some really high-level investors, maybe realtors, who are out there saying it's not the time to buy. I mean, if they're a realtor, that seems like it's counterintuitive to be saying that.
Right.
But a lot of people are talking about rent. It's better to rent. Just rent. Work your way through what the market is doing. If you feel like you're being overpriced, pushed out of the market, you don't have a choice, you have to rent. And I'm the person who's always going to say, I don't think there is one answer for anybody. You know, I think it's every individual, what their specific needs are, what is really going on currently, where they're looking. But ultimately, only you can decide, do you want to buy or do you want to rent?
And I don't think it's just a financial aspect. It's also like personal and where you're at in your life.
If you're a buyer and you know what you're looking for, if it comes up, you need to be ready to pull the trigger. Like, you need to be able to take action and make it happen and feel comfortable with that.
So when it's a seller's market, timing across the board. So from looking at it to putting in the offer, you need to be like, make a decision.
Yeah, because that hesitation is what's going to cost you. And, you know, it's not to put pressure on anybody, but it's just to realize, especially when the house is priced right and it's meeting all the criteria, what's the hesitancy? What's holding you back? If there is something holding you back, then we need to take a step back and actually look at it, because you don't want to be competing in a spring market when it's going to be even busier. Like, winter time is the time to make the deals because people start getting anxious. Nobody's going to look. You don't have as many people coming through, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today on the Real Tea Podcast. If you enjoyed the knowledge and entertainment today, please subscribe and share with your friends. We will be embarking on a journey that bridges the gap between realtors and clients, uncovering the heart and tea of real estate.